I was studying at university and working, like most students, mostly on the night shift. Her mom could not help her, and it was not easy to survive on one scholarship in a big city. After the summer session, she took a vacation and went to her mother's house for 3 weeks. She came back refreshed and full of energy. She was relieved to put her burden on the bench. Returning to the city had been easy for her. Her mom was fine, but she had been living alone for 2 years, used to being her own boss, and missed the bustling city and her friends. When she started working, she was able to afford to rent an apartment and move out of the hostel. The apartment was tiny in a bedroom neighborhood, but most importantly, it was affordable. The windows looked out onto a vacant lot, overgrown with tall grass, with a wall of forest behind it. At night, there was no light on the street, but in the morning, the sun flooded the apartment with bright light. In winter, the snow-covered wasteland was bright, even if someone was snoring quietly nearby. Ava peeked under the bench and saw a brown muzzle shot up and a look of longing and fear in the big round eyes. Only now did Ava notice the leash. The dog was tied to the bench. She squatted down and Dustin began to crawl away. Ava tugged gently on the leash and Dustin reluctantly crawled out from under the bench. Ava held the leash. The dog's family was breathing and whimpering, and Ava decided the dog wanted water. There was a kiosk nearby that sold drinks and sundries. "I'll be right back," she whispered to the nutritionist and walked over to the kiosk. "A small bottle of plain water, please." Ava addressed the unfriendly saleswoman at the kiosk. "Do you happen to have an empty canned food jar? Or maybe a disposable cup?" The woman smirked. "No, it would be hard for a dog to drink out of a cup. Look over there by the bench. There's a patient tied up over there. Do you know how long he's been sitting there?" The woman squinted. She looked toward the bench and sighed. "People can be so cruel. I opened the kiosk at 8 in the morning and saw a foreign car pull up. The man brought the dog, tied it to the bench, and drove off without returning. I think he dumped her. Here, take it. It's not washed." The woman held out the empty pendle to the window. "Thought I'd paid for a bottle of water that cost twice as much as any other store in town," and walked back to the. She set it down in front of the dog, who quickly approached again. "Don't be afraid," Ava reassured the dog in a soft voice. The dog sniffed the can, licking it greedily and noisily. When the jar was empty, Ava filled it with water again. "What am I going to do with you? Stray dogs might tear you apart. Or would you rather be eaten by the homeless?" Ava was disturbed by her own words. "Come with me." She wrote her phone number on a piece of paper and left it at the kiosk in case the owner was home. He lurked in the corner of the hallway, sniffing at the foreign odor. Ava made a makeshift bed out of a blanket and laid it on the hallway floor. The dog immediately settled on it, watching Ava with big black eyes. "What should I name you?" Ava started listing dog names out loud. "Maybe Felix," the dog said. "Well, then I'll call you Felix," Ava said. The dog barked again. "Do you understand? Why did your only one leave you outside at night?" I listened to the sound of claws on the laminate floor. Felix came out of his corner, exploring the room as soon as it moved. The dog would return to the hallway. But after a few days, Felix got used to the apartment, whining eagerly when Ava came home and opened the door. All the available space in the yard was taken up by cars. There was nothing to do but walk Felix in the vacant lot as soon as they were away from the roads and cars. Ava would let him off the leash. At first, she was afraid he would run away, but the dog always came back when she called. She wondered how he managed to run through the tall grass on his short legs. A dry and warm September came, bringing with it classes at the university. Ava started working at Knot again, and Felix spent most of the day not alone in the apartment. He looked forward to seeing her, greeting her cheerfully, and Ava could no longer imagine her life without him. Sunday morning, as usual, they went for a walk around the vacant lot. Felix first circled around Ava, but then suddenly rushed towards the forest. Ava followed him, calling to him constantly, but the tall grass got in her way, tangling in her legs. Ava stopped. "Felix, come to my house." Cold silence was the only answer. Then she heard a dog barking, changing to a whimper, foreboding trouble. Ava rushed toward the forest. It wasn't as thick as it seemed. Out the window, through the trees, she could see a clearing where several teenagers were squatting, studying something. They were about 15 years old, and Ava wasn't afraid. She boldly approached them and inquired when they heard her voice. They jumped to their feet, and Ava saw that she was lying on the grass. Felix. A thick branch was sticking out of his side, pinning him to the ground. Ava froze in horror, unable to look away. Suddenly, the tallest of the teenagers leaned over and yanked the branch out of the dog's side with force. Felix whimpered in pain, blood gushing from the wound. The teen took a step toward Ava, holding the branch with the bloody end in his hands. He was taller than her, and two of his friends loomed behind him, the crooked smiles on their faces leaving no doubt of their intentions. Ava wanted to scream, but couldn't. The teenager stared at her, unmoving, as if hypnotizing her. His eyes expressed nothing. They were as empty as a dead man's. Before she could think of the danger from the boy, just was in her way, but Ava repeated to herself, "Just don't fall." The clatter of footsteps and the rustling of grass were deafening. She thought it was the breath of the teenagers. She was afraid to look back, running as fast as she could, expecting one of them to grab her by the jacket. Her house was very close. The towers could be seen up ahead. Another jolt and something heavy hit her back, and the pain took her breath away, and she lurched forward. She cried out in pain as her knees hit the ground. Her insides clenched. She braced herself for more blows, expecting a sharp, bloody branch to pierce her back. However, nothing happened. Perhaps the teenagers had decided not to take any chances, since they could be seen from the windows of the neighboring houses. They threw a rock at her, knocking her down, and disappeared into the tall grass. I crawled out to the road, where a silver car stopped in front of her. A young man got out, rushed to her and helped her up. Every breath was accompanied by a pain in my back. "Were you attacked?" "Who?" the man asked. But Ava couldn't speak, only pointed toward the vacant lot. 3 or 4 teenagers they killed. Felix hit him with a branch from the store. "Is that your husband? Boyfriend?" the man inquired. "Adoption, please. Let's go. Bring him in. He's dying of blood loss." The young man relaxed a little, recognizing that it was a dog, not a human, that was hurt. 3 or 4, you said? Stay here." The man stopped a passing car, said something to the driver, and the two of them ran toward the woods across the vacant lot. Ava soon lost sight of them. She sat down on the curb and cried. It seemed like an eternity to her until she saw the men returning. One of them was carrying a blood-soaked bundle. Ava struggled to get up from the ground. "He's alive. Get in the car. We're going to the veterinary clinic." Philip praised the man. He placed a blood-soaked bundle wrapped in a sweater in the back seat. Ava sat next to him. Throughout the ride, she stroked Felix's head. His eyes were closed, and the horse's frequent breathing came out. "We didn't find anyone. Do you remember them? Can you identify them?" The man questioned Ava. "Only one," she answered through tears. "Felix died before reaching the clinic." Ava couldn't put away the bedding and the ball. She couldn't believe Felix was gone. That night, she woke up to the pounding of claws on the bed, coming home from university. She would stop at the door, expecting to hear an impatient, joyful whine. But the apartment greeted her with silence. The warm days were behind her, and the annoying fall rains had begun. Ava got off the bus, shivering in the chill wind, and remembered that there was no bread at home. Reluctantly, she turned to the nearest store. On the way out, she bumped into a teenager and immediately recognized the blank, indifferent stare of the cold, gray eyes that had become hers for a moment. They stared at each other. She wanted to shout that she recognized him, but the boy turned abruptly and rushed away. She saw him turn the corner of the house, and at that moment there was a deafening screech of brakes. When Ava turned the corner, the teenager was lying on the pavement. The driver of the SUV confusedly asked the gathered curious onlookers, "Did you see that? It wasn't my fault." He threw himself right under the tires. You saw the ambulance arrive, followed by a police car. One of the policemen approached Ava again. He was talking to you. What had happened this time? She did not immediately recognize the young man who had brought Felix from the forest, but when she did, she was glad. It was him. That's the guy. I recognized his eyes, and he ran away. She explained hastily. 2 weeks passed. One gloomy Sunday morning, Ava was awakened by the doorbell. She grabbed the phone, but the intercom kept ringing incessantly. She climbed out of the warm bed. She opened the door, and a young man with a square bag stood on the threshold. Realizing that she was standing in front of him only in a long t-shirt, she slammed the door, hurriedly searched for a robe, threw it on, and opened the door again. "I'm sorry to wake you. I'm on duty and I don't have anyone to leave her with," he said, holding out his bag. Ava took it. Not understanding anything, she almost dropped it. There was something moving in the bag. Ava set it on the floor and unzipped it. A sharp brown face peeked out. 2 big black eyes looked at Ava fearfully. "I thought the boy would remind me of Felix. That's why I took the girl. Her name is Fiona." Fiona echoed, and Ava pulled out her bags. She cradled the small, trembling body with short legs against her chest. Fiona licked Davis's chin, and he laughed softly and happily. It was a good thing she hadn't been taken. The man nodded toward the makeshift bed in the corner. "I can't," Ava replied, hugging him. "And thank you. I didn't even know your name." Louis, the young man, introduced himself. Fiona looked nothing like Felix, except for her collar and long body. She was independent and naughty, chewed shoes, and slept in the same bed as Ava. Getting her to stay on the hallway seemed impossible by walking with her along the edge of the vacant lot. Ava never let her off the leash. Sometimes on weekends, Louis would take them to some park. Fiona would bury her muzzle happily in the fallen leaves, searching for something, or rush through the park, barely touching the ground with her short legs, which fluttered above her head like flags. Dogs chased each other, filling the park with happy barking. I love dogs. You can always tell what a dog is thinking. She has 4 moods: happy, sad, angry, and focused. Dogs are loyal and never lie because they can't talk. A dog only brings pain when it dies. If you like the stories on our channel, give it a thumbs up. Be sure to subscribe to the channel and put a bell to be the first listeners of another new story. Good luck and come back. It will be interesting.